So according to my understanding of, Most High Creator, I would say God is paradoxical, but God is not confusing. So why I say God is paradoxical is because he seems, contradictory.
What's your name, by the way? Sorry?
My name is Akila Kadan.
Akila Kadan?
Akila Kadan.
So is that your actual name, yeah? Is that on the passport?
My Ethiopian name.
Oh, is it? So you're from Ethiopia?
No, it's my baptismal name, isn't it?
Oh, okay. So you're Rasta?
Rasta. Orthodox, Rastafari,
okay.
Orthodox, yeah.
Nice one.
So I would say that, God is paradoxical, but he's not contradictory.
And you guys believe in the Trinity and stuff?
Yeah,
all right.
We believe in Trinity, yeah.
But not all Rastas believe in the Trinity?
Yeah, some are different, but,
okay.
That's the next subject, innit?
Okay.
So obviously we say he's paradoxical because obviously things that he does we can't understand fully, innit?
Yeah.
So some things he does we'll say is confusing. So agnostic, and I say there's levels to it as well, because agnostic will say to a Muslim or to a Jew, how can God be real? And he created us, and he created Satan, or he created Iblis, or he created Lucifer, knowing that he would turn to Satan. That's a contradiction, because if he's all-knowing, why would he create something that's going to be evil? Secondly, they'll say, if he's all-knowing, why would he create us in the first place, if he doesn't need us? So and obviously we can't logically explain that, but there's more evidence to say that God that creator is real. There's more evidence for us to know that. So even though we can't explain it, we say explanation, the evidence overwhelms our lack of explanation. Okay, so then we know that he's obviously real. And then when it comes now to the Trinity, from the Quranic perspective, first I look into the biblical perspective, but in the Quran perspective it says in Surah 5, I could just get to it, I don't want to go off memory.
It's alright, you can tell me the verses and I can help you out.
Oh yeah, you went off by heart still. No, hold on. So Surah 5.
Yeah.
I'll get straight to it.
You want verse 70 or verse 72, yeah?
No, not that one.
Which one?
Surah 5 and then...
The last part or the beginning part?
Yeah, so I want 73, 74 and 116, yeah.
Okay,
so
excellent. كيف حالك؟ الحمد لله بخير.
Yeah, so 73 says, surely disbelievers are those who said Allah is the third of three.
Yeah.
But there is no Ilah, so you know what I'm going to get to. There is no Ilah, God, none who has the right to be worshipped but one, Ilah. And if they cease not from what they are saying, verily a painful torment will befall on the disbelievers among them. Alright, so I first want to get your input upon that, innit, first before I give my input, because it's obviously, you're hosting to the Quran.
Yeah, so it says, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثَ, yeah?
Yeah.
So that he is the basically the ones who said that God is third of three.
Yeah.
Before it says لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْمَسِيحُ ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ, yeah?
Okay.
The ones who say that God is the Jesus, son of Mary, or the Messiah, is God, then they are the disbelievers. Okay, so in other words, if Christians, after having been exposed to the religion of truth in Islam and Tawheed, or the idea of one God, still insist on the Trinity, this is considered as a kind of disbelief.
Okay.
So those who say that God is third of three, or that He's the Trinity, or whatever kind of expression that you want to put to it, this is a deviation from the monotheistic tradition of Abraham, and this is how the Quran depicts it.
Okay, so obviously if I'm reading it here, from the Quran it's saying third of three.
Yes, yeah.
So you understand what I'm saying? A third of three is not even, obviously I'm Rasta, but I understand what even like the Christians believe and whatnot.
Yeah.
And even that doesn't hold true to their understanding of the gods. To say a third of three, they don't actually say third of three.
Yeah.
So because a third of three would be like a portion, 1 3, and then 3 of them. So you know what I mean? So
okay.
So that shows
now
me
this is an Arabic expression.
Arabic expression.
ثالث ثلاثة, yeah. So ثالث ثلاثة means here the third of three. So in other words, there are three entities which constitute the Trinity, and that He constitutes one part of that three entities. This is what Christians say.
So he's saying a third, 1/3 of three.
ثالث ثلاثة.
Yeah. So a third of three is not 3 and 1.
Yes. Okay.
Not third. The term
One-
in Arabic is not third.
His three. One of them.
Thuluth,
The
yes,
third
third.
one of three.
Third, if you translate it into Arabic, it will be thuluth.
Thuluth.
What does that mean?
It means third.
Third.
But thalith
This one.
means
Yes. Let me tell you,
go on,
basically.
so that's a
Yeah,
one of...
yes.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay.
So he's not saying that. Basically, is saying that He is a third, i.e. 1/3.
Yeah. It's not, so it's not, it's
Oh,
not, it's
so
not
it's
an
a
English
third.
term. It's not like that.
Basically, in
Okay.
English, you got cardinal numbers, yeah?
Yeah.
They're like first, second, third. This is a grammatical term. It's called a cardinal description. First, second, third, fourth, fifth.
Yeah.
It's different to saying
In Arabic.
a third.
Okay.
A third is a fractional term. So we're not
You don't
talking
say
here.
fractional.
Here is not saying thuluth thalatha. It's not saying this.
Okay.
It's not saying the fractional sense. It's saying it's the third of three. In other words, there are three entities, and He constitutes one of those three.
Okay, so it's slightly different still, nevertheless. But I understand what you're saying.
Do you get
It's
it?
the same as English. I understand what you're saying, but it's.
And by the way, just to go back to your third of third,
yeah.
no doubt there are some Christians who do believe in that.
Like
And
who?
like for example, if you look at,
Even the Catholics.
like I'm saying, if you look at before you had two rivaling factions. You had tritheists and you had modalists. Yeah.
Okay.
Modalists, they believed in that God took three different modes. Yeah, three different modes, and one of those modes was the Father. So you could say that some modalists could believe that there's a division of God, like one God divided into three different parts, because they couldn't. You had two sides of the spectrum. One of the sides was saying that God is one, but divided into three. And you could say the other extreme was to the tritheist extreme, said no, God is Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So in other words, there are three gods.
Okay.
And now the Catholic and let's say Protestant church are somewhere in the middle where they say no, God is one and three in one.
Okay, we'll leave that as a disagreement, but I understand what
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, 100%. So then after that, it's saying, I think.
So there's no God except for one.
Yeah, and it's when it's saying the Messiah, Jesus, son of Maryam, was no more than a messenger. Many were the messages that passed away before him.
Yes.
His mother Maryam was
a good woman, so
yeah,
Siddiqa, yeah.
They
Good.
both used to eat. So to me, obviously that puts it into context, isn't it? Because obviously he's saying further free.
Yeah.
So obviously there's free.
Yeah.
And then now it's basically clarifying it, basically putting it into context by mentioning Maryam now. So it's saying the non-believers, they believe that further free is Jesus and Maryam.
Well, look, the Quran doesn't say that in the first verse. So what we say is that the first verse, when it was talking about third of three, the Mufassirun of the Quran, like Tabari and others, they try to make their own, what you call ijtihad, like their own reasoning as to who were the three. And they had differences of opinions. But the point is, the Quran never says that Mary was part of the Trinity in that explicit way. It never says that. However, it does mention that some people consider her as a deistic type figure.
Higher than Jesus sometimes.
Yeah, so some, like for example, Catholics would maintain that Mary is the mother of God, and they would actually do acts of worship towards her. So we would say, for example, that they would call out to her. Now we would say anyone who is called out to other than God, that's seen as someone who is taken as another God. So from that angle, since she's been called the mother of God, since some ritualistic things, and Protestants would agree with me, are done in the name of Mary, then that is seen as some kind of deifying her as a character. That's why it says, "Kana yakulani ta'am." Yeah, so it says both of them used to eat food. In other words, Mary and Jesus, both of them had human tendencies.
But at the same time, even if you say that's deifying Maryam, it's not in the context. Obviously, he's talking about Trinity here, innit? So it's like, let's say they was doing that, making a mistake, innit? So that would be like a fourth, innit? It wouldn't be third or free. It wouldn't. So if you put
these are two different verses, yeah.
Yeah, but it's within the Surah 5. It's like
that's fine.
You know what I mean?
But that's not how it works. So here you have a new subject when it talks about Mary and Jesus. It's talking about something completely. It's now telling us that Jesus and Mary كان يأكلون الطعام, and then it says انظر كيف نبين لهم الآيات ثم انظر كيف أن يؤفكون. Look how we make the signs very clear for them, and look how after that they'll run away or they'll turn away. So this is a message to you. And no, but the point is, do you know how Christians had to try and figure this out? Because this was a real problem in Christianity, by the way.
Go on.
Basically, the idea of is Jesus a man, or is he God, or is he both? Yeah. So basically, because if you say that Jesus, the human being, was a human. So Jesus, the human being, was God himself. If you maintain that, do you maintain that?
Go on, say again.
Do you say that Jesus was God as a human?
Well, God in flesh?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so did God die?
See, okay, we're getting to another subject.
No, hold on. Because if that question is posed, do you know how they try to resolve it? I'm gonna be on your side for a second. Yeah. I'm gonna pretend to be a Christian. I'll tell you how they would answer that question.
Yeah, go on.
So they would say, look, Jesus didn't die, because I know people stop at that argument over. They say, look, Jesus has two natures, isn't it? So the one nature is that he is a man, and the other nature is that he is a God. Okay, that's how they try to resolve the issue of, is Jesus, how comes Jesus died? How comes because they believe obviously Christians believe he died. How comes he needs to eat? How comes he's in need? How comes he doesn't have all knowledge, etc. So in 451, there was something called Chalcedon. Yeah, Chalcedon was a council they did, which they decided that Jesus has two natures, a godly nature and a human nature.
All right, cool.
Now, to summarize, where is this mentioned in the Bible explicitly that Jesus had two natures, the godly nature and the human nature?
I'll get to that.
And what evidence is, because the thing is, before 451, no one was saying that.
Okay, cool. I'll get to that.
Do you get what I mean?
I'll get to that. Trust me, brother. Trust me.
Okay.
All right, cool. So in 116, yeah, it says, I remember when Allah would say on the day of resurrection, Jesus.
Yes, it says.
Son of Mary. Yeah, you say in Arabic, did you say to men, worship me and my mother as two gods beside Allah? So as I'm saying, it's all in context with Surah 5, isn't it? Obviously, Muhammad knows what he's doing when he puts it in context with Surah 5. So now he's saying.
Obviously we don't believe this is from Muhammad, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, obviously it wasn't him. Obviously when he passed
we
away.
believe it's God.
Yeah. I know it's straight from. I know. I understand.
Go on, bro.
I understand. So basically, when you go to Surah 5,
116.
No, not even 116 before that, innit? So I'm saying it's all in context, the whole of it. So
but yeah, okay, look.
So
there's different. Sorry, go on.
So he's saying the third of 3, right?
Yeah.
So that's mentioning number 3.
Yeah.
So if you say the Mariam bit and they're making a mistake, the Christians making a mistake. So that obviously, if they make a mistake, they could be adding like a 4 in it, because they added another one to it, innit? Like a deity, like worshiping her, praying to her, all of that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is third of 3 is basically they're misunderstanding the concept of third of 3, because now they're saying here, Jesus, Mariam, do you want to worship her beside Allah? So now they're still maintaining 3. There's no like 4.
No, but here,
so now are you going to worship Jesus, Mariam beside Allah? So
okay,
this
is. I think you've misunderstood the verses.
Okay, cool.
Verses 72, 73. 72 it says, لَقَدْ خَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثَةٍ. Yeah, the ones who said that God is third of 3, they have disbelieved. That's one verse. Verse 116, chapter 5, 116. It says, يا عيسى أأنت قلت للناس اتخذوني وأمي إلهين من دونك قال سبحانك. Yeah, he says, so basically, did you tell your, this is another verse now, 116 is saying that, did you say to the people, take me and my mothers as two gods from other than God? Now here the word 2 is used, the word 3 is not used.
Yeah, but it's still mentioning 3 deities.
No, not in that part.
Yeah, but it's
not in that part.
Hold on.
No, here is, no, because what's your name again?
Akila
Matata, yeah?
Akila Kadan.
Oh, sorry, Akila Matata. I can't remember.
Right. But
anyways,
but
you get
either way, it's still 3 deities, isn't it? Because you've got Allah, one deity.
Okay.
Jesus, false deity.
Yes.
Mariam, false deity. Still 3.
Okay,
so
I'm with you.
You understand what I'm saying? So
I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying that, look,
3 is wrong.
Listen, I'm saying to you, first and foremost, the Quran, in the first verse that you mentioned, chapter 5, verse 72,
Yeah.
that was talking about the Trinity.
Yeah.
ثالث ثلاثة, yeah? In chapter 5, verse 116, it's not talking about the Trinity.
How do you know?
Because it's not mentioning the Trinity.
Yeah, but it's not talking about it, like saying the word third of 3.
Okay, it's not mentioning Trinity at all.
But it's talking about 3 deities.
No, it's not.
So
it's not. إلهين من دون الله.
Alright, cool. But are you saying...
Two.
But are they saying it's a mistake to say... Alright, cool. But are they saying it's a mistake to say, if you worship Jesus, and you worship Mariam, and you worship Allah, you worship Jesus and Mariam beside Allah, that's wrong, innit? Is that not wrong or right? That's wrong.
No. That's not what the Quran is saying. That's what you're saying. Right?
Okay, cool. So tell me what it's saying then.
Okay, the Quran is simply saying, generically, in chapter 5, verse 72, 73, 74, whatever, from that section of the Quran, what it's talking about is the Trinity, yeah?
Yes.
And then it transitions into Jesus and his mum.
Okay, cool.
Which are two entities, yeah?
Okay.
Now it goes in chapter 5, verse 116.
Okay.
It's talking about يا عيسى, O Jesus, أأنت قلت للناس اتخذوني وأمي إلهين من دون الله. Did you tell, O Jesus, the people, take me and my mum as two gods beside God? Now this is a different argument, because now you have to understand, from our perspective, from a Muslim perspective, we see the deification of Jesus Christ. We also see that Jesus' mother was being deified.
Of course, I understand what you're saying.
Why? Because she's been called the mother of God. Even now in Catholic circles, she is, in Catholicism, they call her the mother of God.
Yeah, obviously that's a mistake.
Yes.
I won't say that's 100% mistake, but I understand it's a mistake to worship her. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
But, okay, let's leave it as that. That's obviously, I see you standing from, I see where I'm coming from. But so then...
If I follow his logic, there is verse that says they have taken the rabbis as gods.
Good point. I like this. Thank you very much.
Your logic here you have to apply it here as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying...
No, let me tell you what he said. All right?
What story is that?
That's in chapter number 9 of the Quran.
Okay,
Yeah? Where in Surah At-Tawbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, they have taken the rabbis and their priests as gods beside God.
Alright, cool.
So here the Quran is
I
not
know
just it's not just saying. So now are we going to put that? Are we going to try and mix that into the Trinity?
Okay, because the way that I come
to be
from, yeah.
consistent
No.
with them.
Because the way I come from is to understand that basically, obviously, there's a creator in it. We all understand there's a creator.
But do you know why?
Hold on,
But do you know? Sorry.
Obviously, there's a creator.
Yeah.
And obviously, when he created everything, it's for a purpose. So even though Muhammad didn't specifically put the 5 in himself, it's there for a reason, innit? So when he's putting the 5 in, it's a context for us to understand. So obviously now sometimes people worship the apostles and stuff like that. That's a whole other situation. When it talks about like Hindus worshipping other things, that's a whole other topic. When you're talking about the rabbis, that's a whole other topic. When I say it's Surah 5,
Maybe it's another
what I'm
topic
saying,
for
no.
India as well.
Hold on. When I say it's Surah 5, Allah allowed it to be Surah 5 for a reason. Whether it was Muhammad, obviously it wasn't him that wrote it, who understands. But the people that wrote it and compiled it, Allah allowed him to put it Surah 5 for a reason, for us to contextualize it for a reason.
Well, by the way, it's mentioned in chapter 4 as well, and chapter 3,
Yeah, but I'm saying you have to contextualize.
and chapter
5.
19.
Yeah, what does it say?
Well, many things. I mean, what do you want me to say? In chapter 3, it talks about the Trinity.
Okay.
Or it talks
Yeah, I
about
know,
Christians.
chapter 4, I know,
It's not the
I
Trinity
know.
specifically. Chapter 4 talks about the Trinity.
Yeah.
In verse 174, verse 157. In chapter 5, it talks about the Trinity.
Okay.
In chapter 6, it talks about, in chapter 2, it talks about
Yeah.
the deification of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So it's not just in chapter 5.
No, it's throughout. It's throughout.
throughout the
I
Quran.
understand what you're saying. But what I'm saying, when you mention the rabbis and that's
Yeah.
a separate situation. When it mentions,
With the Torah,
okay,
that they, in effect, have created their own legislation.
I understand what you're saying.
And the same thing applies with the church and their councils and Christianity.
That's what I'm saying. When I say God is paradoxical, because someone else, that's obviously, I'm Rasta, so I respect Islam, but what I'm saying is someone that doesn't have no Abrahamic faith, they'll come and say, even though you say you don't worship the Kaaba, actions, the definition of worship is to bow down. So they'll say, even though you say you don't do it, from their perspective, it's worship. So what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
So, but
Yeah, of course you would argue saying no, it's not.
he's saying that's not.
That's what I'm saying. So it's neither here nor there because within your context.
Yeah.
It's not,
So
it's
we
not
have to
worship. So within their context,
so
it's
here,
like, oh, you don't understand.
since you're talking about the Quran,
Yeah.
and we're saying that the Quran is discussing certain things, aspects of worship.
Yeah.
All that's necessary, as mentioned in chapter 4, verse 91, 92 of the Quran. أفلا يتدبرون القرآن ولو كان من عند غير الله لوجدوا فيه اختلافا كثيرا. That if it was from other than God, there would be contradictions in it. All that's necessary for us is that the Quran doesn't have contradictions. So our definition of worship is a independent definition of worship. We understand that other religions might not believe in the same thing, but from that angle, we don't really necessarily care. We're saying that all the Quran has to be is consistent and not contradictory. And here, what the challenge is, the Quranic challenge, is try and find a contradiction in the Quran.
Okay, cool. So I understand what you're saying. 'Cause from what I'm saying, there is a bit of contradiction, but from your perspective, it's not.
That's only because, to be fair to you, you haven't looked at the verses in the way that I've told you to.
Things, innit?
Yeah. But can you see? Look, all the things that you put to me have been answered. Okay. Now, they have. Now, you might not be satisfied or not want to be satisfied
No,
with the
it's not that I
answer.
don't want to be satisfied. It's not that. It's not that at all. Trust me.
But it's just, that's how it is. It's been
Trust me,
answered.
it's not that at all. It's just that
Go on.
basically I've studied, innit? I've studied long and hard.
Okay.
And me, obviously, I'm a person, I don't fall into people's paradigms. I just look at things from objective perspective. So I'm seeing like what people could see as contradictions in every religion. Understand?
Okay.
But once you get into it, then you say no, it's not contradiction.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. That's not a problem. But okay, well, I'm getting to in the scriptures actually. Do you want to hold this? I don't know if the Quran is not meant to go on the floor and stuff like that. But all right. So
No, the one you got is not a Quran because it's in English.
It's
now.
not,
Yeah.
it's normal, innit? It's not the.
Yeah, it's not the Quran.
Alright, cool, no
Yeah,
problem,
go on.
no problem. Alright then, so in looking at where is it now? So in Galatians, obviously, so you recognise. I remember there was one guy called one guy called Brother Shamsi, and he was Brother Shamsi was saying basically they recognise that Muhammad is the prophet through Isaiah and stuff like that, through Isaiah 42, that sort of thing. That's okay. But so basically in Galatians 4, and he's saying that basically Islam is prophesied, isn't it? So I'll agree that Islam is prophesied, and I think you're aware of Galatians 4 when it says, all right, cool. Now I say that here, as long as he's a child, different than a servant, but is under tutors, government under time, appointed. So I basically want to get to children. Okay, so we were children, were under bondage, on the elements of the world. But when the fullness of the time was come, God sent forth His Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem that was under the law, that we might receive the adoptions of sons. And because you are sons of God, boom, boom, boom. I want to get to the bit where it's talking about Hagar. If you know what I talk about, we don't need to go over it by reading. Do you know what it talks about when it talks about the bondwoman?
No, you have to get it from
Okay,
me.
cool. Let me get it. Have you got you've got internet on there? I'll quickly get on internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me use that quickly, please. Where is then the blessing? So
Anyways.
No, hold on. I found it.
Okay, go.
Finally come back next week.
Literally found it. All right, cool. Look. Listen. All right, so for it's written that Abraham had 2 sons, innit? So this is what we're getting to now. Abraham had 2 sons.
Okay.
All right, cool. The one by a bondwoman and the other one by a free woman.
Yeah.
But he who was of the free woman or the bondwoman was born of the flesh. So when they say flesh, they mean like carnal, natural. So when you're giving your analogies, you see like the tree and stuff, it's prophesied that you'll be given those analogies, the natural analogies. So it says of the flesh, but he is of the free woman was of the promise. Which things are an allegory? Allegory means that basically, obviously you're now living, but say now you do whatever, people will reflect upon what you represent. That's an allegory. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right, cool. So allegory with 2 covenants. The one from Mount Sinai was gendered to bondage, which is Agar. Just like Hagar, you know, like that. And then for this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia and answer to Jerusalem. So when it says answer, it means that it corresponded, similar. When it says Arabia will be similar to Jerusalem, it means that when there was a time, obviously, when everyone looked to Jerusalem, but then after they looked to Arabia, innit, to Mecca. So it's prophesied that there will be certain people that will do that.
Say that part again, go on.
For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia. Yeah?
Mount Sinai.
Yeah, but then it says in Arabia. You understand what I'm saying? So in Arabia, an answer is to Jerusalem, which now is in bondage with her children. Okay. So don't get too caught up with the Sinai. From the Islamic perspective, we now understand that Ishmael is obviously comes from Hagar, innit, from Abraham.
Yeah.
So he was the oldest son, innit?
Yeah.
And he obviously separated from Isaac and all that.
Yeah.
So that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the 2 covenants. So obviously with Rastafari, we recognize there's 2 covenants. So sometimes you talk to Rastas and that, we're not really against Muslims and Christians because it's a different level, innit? Okay. But what we're saying is that in bondage with her children. So what he's saying is that basically, but Jerusalem which is above is free in the mother as us. For it's written, rejoice, thou barren, best, break. Now we brethren as Isaac was as children of promise, but as then that was born of the flesh persecuted him that was born after the spirit. So what he's saying there is persecuting, basically, obviously we know, I don't need to get into history, but you know, you can see the persecution that takes place for one to another. But it's talking more about in the Islamic terms, when it comes, there'll be many times they'll be like talking aggressively towards a certain type of people that see things a bit more spiritually. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I kind of reference the agnostics. Because Rastafari, we say everything is everything, innit? So we meaning that basically everyone has a purpose. So when you have an agnostic or question, you say that, why did God create us and he created the devil, doesn't make sense, and you can't really answer it. It's because the agnostic is to show you a level, like they're on like a lower level, like, you understand what I'm saying? But they're going to question you and you can't answer it.
So what's your point with this?
So my point on this is that when it's saying in the Quran, basically in the Quran it's saying, you can't say third of 3 and 1. Basically it's prophesied that basically these people, there'll be certain people that will come and that they will say these certain things.
What does it say there? What does it say anything about 3 and 1 here?
What do you mean 3 and 1? It's talking about the spirit, innit? So
what you just said there was different to what you just read out there.
Okay, so what I'm saying is put into context is basically there's 2 sons, innit? 2 sons.
Yeah.
Ishmael, Isaac. So Isaac is what people know as the Jews. Also, I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But we understand some people understand that true Jews are the Hebrew Israelites, innit? It's a different subject.
Are you a Hebrew Israelite now?
We're not going to get into that. What
are you, a Rasta or you're a Hebrew Israelite?
We're not going to get into that. But Hebrew Israelite is identity, innit? It's not like a religion. It's just identity. So Ishmael's and Isaac, they're two covenants, innit? Okay. And this is one of the reasons why in history, obviously prophecy, in history as well, Muhammad sent people to go to Ethiopia. You understand what I'm saying? Because you have to remember in Ethiopia, I know you're going to say, you might have a certain thing to say, but
I don't know. Can I be honest with you?
100%, brother, go on.
What's your name again?
Akila
Kedan, yeah?
Akila Kedan, yeah.
All right, listen. Right now, I'm really trying to, as you're speaking, I'm listening, yeah?
Okay, cool.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to sieve your words into a coherent PEE kind of like...
Okay, cool, I'll do that.
Okay, I'm trying to create an argument for you.
Yeah, I'll break it down even more.
I don't see what the point is. You see what I mean?
I'll break it down even more. Okay, I'll explain everything. So
let's try and condense it in a few words.
100%. So remember I asked you questions, right? I said, how do you know Muhammad is real, right?
Yeah.
How do you know he's a prophet?
Yeah.
What was the prophecy that pertains to him?
Yeah.
And what does the Quran say about the Trinity?
Yeah.
So when I'm asking you these questions, because I obviously answered my questions myself. So me as Rastafari, right, we obviously believe that His Imperial Majesty is the divine King of Kings. So when we say that now,
Haile Selassie,
innit? So when we say that now, it's not a belief system. It's factual, innit? So you don't have to believe nothing to know that. And that's what I'm saying.
How is it factual?
How's that factual?
Obviously, he's a real person, innit?
Yeah,
So
everyone is a real
It's
person.
a belief system, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's all right. No, you can tell.
He says
one,
I believe.
It's officially his title, King of Kings. That's his official
When was he?
title.
Was 1930s? What was he?
When was he crowned? Yeah, 1930s when he was crowned. That is his official title.
So
It's not-
why him? Like, what? I mean,
Yeah, we could ask. But I remember I said the why questions. The why questions is just the levels. You know what I'm saying?
and he was seen as a dictator and stuff. Innit?
Yeah, perception is that's another thing. Perception is
Yeah.
another thing. But
Anyways, I mean,
But alright, cool. but what I'm saying is these are facts, innit?
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm looking.
You have to get everyone agree on it.
No, you have to get everyone
But
agreeing.
to
You
us
have
the-
to get everyone agreeing it. The whole world.
The
at
King
the
of
time-
Kings is only Allah
Listen,
first.
listen,
Fact.
listen.
It has to be something
Brother.
like there is sun in the skies. This is a fact.
No, listen.
Everyone will agree on this.
Okay, when he was
Brother,
living,
brother,
yeah,
brother.
let me finish.
Brother, Haile Selassie was not God. That's the thing.
Listen. Let's not jump to steps.
No, but
Do
that
you
is the
reckon
main
he's God,
issue.
though?
That is the main issue.
Listen. Let's not jump.
Because that's what
let's
you
not
believe,
jump.
bro.
Is that what
Hold
you
on,
believe?
hold on.
You don't believe that?
Hold on.
He told me he believes in the
Let's,
Trinity.
brother.
No.
Please, look, he listen to you. Talk about that now. Haile Selassie being God.
No. We'll get to all of that.
No, but that's the main
But
issue.
this is not
So
entertainment.
do you believe in the Trinity or
Brother,
Haile Selassie
we're
being
going to
God?
get to all that, but remember, we're talking first about the Quran and the scriptures, so I'm just putting things into perspective, innit?
Okay, but now you're going to tell me Haile Selassie is God.
Hold on, I'm going to get to that, man. Let's just be patient, bro. So what I'm saying is that when I say to prove to that Muhammad is real, that's what I'm saying in the context. The same way I can know Haile Selassie is real, like I know you're real,
Okay.
he proved Muhammad's real in that context, right?
Yeah.
So he said he can prove that he's a prophet in that.
Yeah.
Like show me obviously scriptures or something secular, something that's not from the Quran or from the Bible.
Yeah.
I can prove that he's a prophet. That's fine.
And we talked about that, and I showed it to you, and that's it.
Well, I didn't see no evidence.
Oh, I didn't have it on my hands,
But I accept anyway. I accept
Yeah,
he's a
alright,
prophet.
fine.
That's not a problem. But what I'm saying is, so you're saying he's a prophet and all that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So what I'm saying is, with his poor majesty, first it's levels to it now, innit? So obviously you're a Muslim, innit? So it's not for me to say to you that Haile Selassie is God or anything like that. When I understand the levels. You understand? You don't believe that Jesus Christ is God. So how can I say to you, talk about Haile Selassie? It's levels.
He himself never claimed to be God.
Yeah, it's not about if you. Yes, I'm saying you have to
He was
understand.
made into a God.
I am so grateful to Allah for having guided me to Islam. Sadly, I am the only Muslim in my family. It hurts me that my parents haven't accepted Islam yet, and I ask Allah to guide them. But it also gives me a special drive to work for the establishment of Islam. I don't want anyone to miss the chance of becoming Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ said that the Muslims are like one body. If you can feel my pain, would you please help me relieve it? You are now my new family. Click the link and donate to establish this masjid and share in the reward for the message of Islam reaching the corners of Norway.